it is graduation season and also awards season for some students. So back in the day, like here in Korea, it was like everybody got this award called like 개근상, Perfect Attendance Award. Very popular or common. Nowadays, not so much. Were you one of these 개근상 awardees?
Of course I was. Because, I mean, it was a virtue, right? It was a reflection of your work ethic to go to school every day and be sick at school. 아플 거면 학교에 가서 아파라 was what we were told, right? But that 개근상, the perfect attendance, might be a relic of this bygone era. Again, the era of go die at school if you must.
Yeah.
Some parents who have attended their children's graduation season is now, they noted how only a handful of students per class received a perfect attendance award.
Yes.
If they were given out at all. And teachers are saying that it's probably just about 10% of the entire student body that receives the perfect attendance award.
Really? So why the sudden shift?
Well, big cultural changes and COVID played a major role because being sick at school is no longer a marker of your work ethic. So also kind of a sad look into how public education is being received, especially as you get older. Because high school students say that for some, maybe many, your private academy classes take priority over public school. And some students won't even show up to their school after the final CSAT mock test.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how do experts view this in a larger scope of education and basically just work ethics?
Right. It is quite symbolic of how we as society view work ethic and education. Because in the past, Korean society saw education on equal footing as labor. That was your occupation as a student to work hard. That was your job. But now, good news, we do have a greater respect for personal health, well-being, and rest.
Yes.
And, some do recognize that having perfect attendance, at least a little bit of that is luck. But some experts do say that perfect attendance award is a reflection of a person's work ethic, consistency, and diligence, and also responsibility over their school life.
The temperature suddenly started plummeting after that warm spell. And such sudden cold waves does lead to higher risk. And today we mentioned it's Taehan, right?
Absolutely. So the cold wave has pushed over the Korean peninsula starting yesterday afternoon to evening. And it is fully cold. I mean, these are kind of normal-ish winter temperatures, but given how the weather was like 10 degrees Celsius above zero, it feels colder. And this is, of course, dangerous for everyone, but particularly for the elderly.
Sure.
So according to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency, the KDCA, in the past 5 years, it's received reports of over 1,900 cold wave-related cases, 한랭질환, from emergency rooms. Over 56% were from patients who are 60 years or older. So people who also have cognitive illnesses like Alzheimer's or dementia, they accounted for 12% of the cases. And that shows that these seniors are particularly vulnerable.
Yes. Well, what specific cold wave illnesses are we talking about? Let's get the details.
Right. Let's refer to a wide set of illnesses, but mostly hypothermia, 저체온증, and frostbite, 동상. So these actually had a very clear age divide.
Okay.
By age, seniors were more susceptible to hypothermia because of their, again, diminished thermoregulation capacity, aka their bodies cannot control their body temperature very effectively.
Yes.
And also with older age, not being cognizant of the symptoms. For the younger generation, their increased physical activity, outdoor activity, meant that they were more susceptible to frostbite. This is why a top location for cold wave illnesses across all ages was on the streets. However, second place for seniors was in their home. But second place for younger people, outdoor ski slopes, mountains, and waterfronts.
In this super age society, more and more people seem to be thinking about how to die well.
Right.
Yes.
So you want to live well. You want to live a long, healthy life.
Yes.
But also, people are thinking about the inevitable end of life or a dignified death. So according to the National Management of Life-Sustaining Treatment, abbreviated to LST, 3.2 million people have signed up to not receive life-sustaining treatments. So this in Korean is 사전 연명의료 의향서 등록. So interesting gender divide here. twice more women signed up to not receive such life-sustaining treatments than men. And looking at age groups, about 23% of people who are in the group 65 or older have signed up for these services.
Okay.
So the system came into place back in 2018 under the Dignified Death Act. And there are 800 designated institutions nationwide where you can go in, consult with experts, and sign these registrations.
Right. So I want to go into the thought behind this decision, though. What constitutes a dignified death for these individuals?
Right. I do want to make it clear, though, South Korea, we're not talking about euthanasia.
Right.
We're not talking about assisted suicide. That does not exist in South Korea by law. We're just saying the do not resuscitate and other life-sustaining treatments. So people are looking at minimal pain and also minimal economic pains for those who are left behind.
I see.
So the LST agency, their paper on quote-unquote well-dying surveyed over 1,021 adults in the country. And it seems that the majority of South Koreans have thought about death and treatment, with 78% saying that, yes, this is something that they've given thought to, but only 45% have talked about this with their families.
I see.
So for necessary factors for quote-unquote dying well, 97% said not feeling pain, and 96% said not burdening their families, whether that be in caregiving or economic factors. And almost 95% of people in their 65 years or above said they would be willing to stop life-sustaining treatments. So for film lovers, the final Wednesday of each month may be their favorite day. And that's because this is Culture Day, 문화가 있는 날. So during these days, admissions to cultural heritage sites, they're free. Also, megaplexes, they offer 7,000 won tickets for 2D films from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's for films that start in that window.
Okay.
And that is one of the most popular features of this day. So in fact, when the system started back in 2014, only about 28% of the public participated and took advantage of the cheaper tickets.
Sure.
Last year, 85%. So with that, there's been calls to expand to more days because once a month doesn't seem like it's enough.
Right. So are they expanding it?
They're going to. So
Okay.
don't get excited quite yet. But they have plans to expand this to every Wednesday night, designating that as Culture Days. So the Culture Ministry announced a legislative pre-announcement to the changes to the Culture Act, and that will again designate every Wednesday as Culture Day. Again, hasn't been implemented yet as we are in the pre-legislation period, but once it does, I'll be the first to let you know.
Yes, please do. Yes, and then we go even more into the past. Indonesia.
To a cave in Indonesia. We're talking cave people, the oldest possible cave painting discovered on the island of Sulawesi.
Ooh, how old are we talking about?
67,800 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so the find also strengthens the arguments, a larger picture that Homo sapiens reached a wider Australia-New Guinea landmass around 15,000 years earlier than what some had previously thought.
Wow, again, these paintings offer not only just archaeological facts, but a window into what people were living and thinking at the time.
Right, because cave art is seen as a key marker of when people began to think in abstract, symbolic, artistic ways.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, storytelling is one of the key traits that separates us from other animals.
Sure.
And these early paintings, engravings do just that. If you're on our YouTube page, you can see it. It is a hand, but it's a weird looking hand because the ends of the fingers are really narrow, like claws. So some archaeologists say that it could be symbolic of how humans and animals were very closely linked way back when.
Oh, okay, interesting. Do the Yaley.
See you in a bit.